I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Okay, we're on to discuss the budget for 2 hours. And I think you had some stuff you
Yeah.
wanted to go through.
We talked about the levy funds yesterday. The road fund that we had to book the snowplow total amount. And then with the airport, we had to book the grant money in for this fiscal year, so that changed the budget.
Mhm.
Then on the non-levied ones, we haven't received how many units we have yet. I'll go talk to Vicki when she gets back from the post office. So we don't know how many units for the solid waste. And there are two, our Forest Service title money. There are two amended, they looked at these budgets and decided that they would advertise for a vehicle, 4x4, what do we call them, for the sheriff's office. And it will need to be advertised, so it's in the Title III budget. So they changed some line items in those budgets to be able to expend. There's the one Title III, if we haven't got it spent by 2024, we have to send it back. And then there's the other Title III that is our Title III that we can expend it and then we advertise.
So what's Title III?
The Forest Service money,
Oh, okay.
it's all included like with PILT and
Oh,
it's part of,
it's not built though.
it's not PILT funds. So that's they changed that, they budgeted for or you can go in the Forest Service and go into the forest. And then that's it for any changes.
So did we vote on getting this side by side? I don't remember that. Or they don't have to go through us for the side by side?
Or it's in the budget, yeah. They're changed to put in the budget to take it out of Title III. So yeah, I guess we have to say, okay.
Yeah, that'd be a motion.
Yeah.
So should we put that on the agenda for,
I think we have to do it.
We can do it today. We have to do it
so we
today.
can do it today?
Because it's just a request.
Yes,
So I make a motion to go ahead with the request from the sheriff on the side by side.
okay, I'll second it.
Any public comment? Don't see any. All in favor, say aye.
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 Susie has a comment, Chuck.
These things cost that much? No wonder I don't.
Well, they're just budgeting for maintenance too on it. I mean, that's just, they don't know what it's gonna cost. They're just putting that in there just in case. So it's, Susie has a comment. Susie has a comment.
What's that?
Susie has a
Oh,
comment.
go ahead, Susie.
Good morning, commissioners. Thank you. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah.
This is Susie Browning of the record and for the record. I want to talk about the preliminary budget for the current fiscal year. I'm not here to ask for money, but I would like you to sharpen your pencils for the taxpayers. There are some budgets that have some concern to me, and that would be the road fund, the gas tax, the solid waste, and the PILT. And though it may not change a thing, at least I'll be on the record. So first, I'd like to talk about the 2110 road fund. I don't know if you want to get it out because I may have some questions.
Got it, Susie.
Thank you. First off, I was really shocked to see that there was only $17,000 plus cash in the road fund. And I don't think there's any STIP investments anymore that I'm aware of. Is there?
Meaning what?
STIP.
Any
State
what?
Treasurer Investment Program, STIP investments, the reports you get from the treasurer. Anyhow, it doesn't matter. There is going to be a transfer of $534,682 from PILT to cover expenditures just to balance the road fund budget. And I know you're aware of it, but I don't know that you've tried to see where you can make cuts. Last year, there was only about 150,000 from PILT to the road fund. So this is a big increase. And you know, in prior years, there is a PILT buildup because the commission was conservative. It was used for emergencies or for something that couldn't be budgeted for. If you continue to use over 500,000 plus from PILT to balance the road fund, in several years, there will be no money left in PILT other than the federal money that comes in each fiscal year.
I'm well aware of that. The rest of them are too, I'm sure. And
Yeah. And
I don't
the
want to
irony-
spend the PILT. I don't want to spend the PILT, but we had to because we hauled a lot of gravel.
Yeah,
Millions.
the thing is, what are you going to do next year? Because you're probably going to have to take that amount or more to put in the road fund, and it can't continue to happen. You know,
I
the
know.
irony is that the 900 object capital outlay of 127,000 has already pretty much been expended because there was a new truck bought with 35,000 down, 90,000 for the attachments, and 2,000 for the shipping to get it here. And you still have 2 fiscal years to pay on it. I think the commission needs to get an inventory list of the equipment and vehicles. If you don't have one, right there at your desk. And it needs to be for the road department, and see what is actually owned and what is still being paid for. I think
And
there has been far too much equipment bought, new equipment, 2 trucks, a loader, an excavator, a mower, graders, I don't know what all. And I think I want to know what you can do to try and cut expenditures for this fund. Why do you need 150,000 for repairs and maintenance when you have all this new equipment? The county doesn't have any more roads to maintain than they did 5 or 10 years ago. There's now 7 road employees instead of 6. Plus, the county superintendent, solid waste manager's salary is one of the highest paid in the county. I think the county attorney may be higher, but half of his salary comes from the DOJ, or did, as he's an elected official. The road department used to do their own hauling, not all of this contracted hauling, and they also did their own chip sealing. And in fact, I think they really got more work accomplished. So what are you going to do if you keep 534,682 from PILT in there? What are you going to do next year to try and make some cuts? I mean, I don't think you're still doing negotiations with the union on employee pay. Is that correct?
We're in negotiations.
You're in negotiations.
Right.
And what you're offering them, I think, was COLA, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's been built into the budget, I assume.
Yes, it has.
Okay. All right. Did you, when you were going through the road fund budget, did you see or discuss anything that maybe could be a little bit less? When you go down through the objects, each one, you know, there's not a whole lot of cuts anyway, in comparison to what was budgeted last year, other than the PILT. So the other one is the gas tax. And it has a budget of 254,000. And it's going to get a transfer from PILT of 82,000. So now we've taken 600,000 from PILT that is going for roads. The gas tax, I think 57,000 has already been expended this fiscal year for the contract hauling for millings, and another 164,000 for the chip sealing that was just done. Now I'm hearing you need to, there's talk of crushing gravel, getting millings, not necessarily doing anything with them right away, but there's no budget for that till next year. Where does it end? What can be done?
Well, we'll be talking about that.
Are you going to really, as far as expenditures, you know, no more capital outlay? I mean, really, I mean, no more contract hauling, no more county road crew can chip seal. When I was a commissioner, the county chip sealed the road down on Lower Rock Creek. They hauled the chips in, stockpiled them until the whole crew could get together, and they chip sealed. So it's not like our employees can't do this kind of stuff. They're
On a limited basis, I agree with you. We could probably do some, but I mean, for like 14 miles of road or whatever we did, and it looks pretty darn nice. I don't think that we probably would have done that good a job, but anyway, I gotta disagree with you on we don't have more roads. True, we don't have more roads, but we have a lot of non-maintained roads that we're going to be getting into having to maintain because everybody is building up there, as you know, all over the county, and it's going to come to a head. And it, you know, so I disagree with you a little bit that we don't have more work to do, because we will have more work to do.
well, that depends on if the county takes those roads on.
Well, I mean, that's gonna be a big discussion this year. So, I
Okay.
mean, and I think we'll be taking some of them on, you know, gradually, whatever we can afford, but I don't see how we can avoid it. But, you know, we're gonna discuss that, so maybe, you know, I might be wrong. I mean,
No, that's pretty much what we discussed the other day.
yeah, so it's not gonna get cheaper. So, yeah, but we
No.
gotta figure out how to pay for it. I mean, without getting into PILT, because I don't want to get into PILT. If PILT goes, I go. Simple as that. 'Cause I'm not gonna do this job without a safety net.
Well, it could be headed that way. If you don't
know.
tighten up in the road fund.
I know,
You know,
I
I-
know, I
Hopefully
know
now we
exactly.
won't have to buy no more rigs or not. We should be set for quite a while too, Susie.
I
With new
hope so.
equipment.
I hope
In
so.
the, Susie, in
Yes.
the gas tax apportionment, the money that they're getting from PILT is to finish the millings and pavings.
The millings, and what
Also,
else?
there is fuel tax and Barca grant funds coming in. So I think it's just a
Yeah.
finish, if I understand correctly.
Yes.
So this is probably, hopefully, a one-time deal that we pull from PILT for our gas tax, because they pay the millings and the paving out of the gas tax fund.
Well, so that's good, and it's already been paid out, so there won't be any of that till, well, come July or August next year, right? Because you're, you know, that's where I'm coming from. It's only September, and, you know, the fiscal year started in July, and look at how much budget has been spent already, especially on larger expenditures. I mean, the road fund is way ahead of its spending, and so, like say, I think that you have a tough job, not saying that, but it needs to tighten up. You may not be able to afford your county road superintendent solid waste manager position. I mean, that's over 100,000 it cost the county last fiscal year. I mean, that includes everything that they have to pay for the employee benefits, etc. That's a lot of money. It is. So, okay. The next one is the solid waste fund, which I did hear Blanche say that you didn't have the units for this year, because I wanted to know how many more new ones had been added, and you don't have that. Is Lynn still working on it?
She should be. She's not here today. I went in and talked with Vicki, and she was at the post office. And they figured the units on last year's count, and there probably will be more units, is what she's saying. And I'll run over and check and see if she does have units for us. So they should have them today. So
Okay.
Billy's will check. Yeah, we're looking. We looked at those units.
Well, and that's, I understand why you don't have it right there. I just was curious because the rate went up. And so, and there's supposed to be all these new places. And so I'm wondering how many more units were added. I don't know. Is this part of the solid waste manager's job to do?
Part of what?
The solid waste manager's job to do, part
To
of,
get the units, that actually is Lynn, and she's the secretary. She
Okay.
should be compiling that, I would assume.
Well, it all
Okay.
comes through anyway.
Huh?
It comes right through the other.
Comes through the treasurer's office, and then, so no, the solid waste manager doesn't handle how many units.
okay, it's Lynn that does it. All right,
Okay, so that's,
so
go ahead.
I guess what if I'm concerned because I read the minutes from when Sarah was in the clerk and recorder and discussed the budget with you, and she brought some things to your attention, and her concern is that the solid waste fund could be in having trouble in the next couple of years too. I mean, I noticed there's nothing budgeted for capital outlay, which is okay. I don't know if they need anything. Usually if anything, it's a loader, but I guess I don't want to see rates, the fees for solid waste keep increasing either. I don't think that's fair to the taxpayers either. I don't. What does the title solid waste manager with the county superintendent, road position, what does he do for the solid waste?
What was the question?
Well,
What does he do?
Solid waste.
What,
So
yeah,
I want to express my opinion to you. I too feel that
Okay.
we have supervisors at the solid waste sites that could handle the job that the solid waste manager handles. And if it gets to that point, I will stress this to the other two commissioners that this position needs to be so we don't raise fees for solid waste. We can't afford to raise any more fees for solid waste. 135 is enough. So
thank you.
this year, Susie, there are 3,031 units, which is up from 2,996. So we just got that.
So 3,031 units.
3,031.
3,000, okay.
3,031.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, not
So
that
we'll
many,
have 30, we'll have 35 more units to add to the solid waste budget today. In anticipation
okay.
at 135.
Okay, do you,
It's a
commissioners,
lot.
do you think that
Another,
that's a good enough? Oh,
Our
I'm
tipping
sorry,
fee-
you,
Our tipping fees went up.
commissioners, am I still on?
what does that mean?
Commissioner,
In a dump in Missoula.
Oh, so we're paying more for the tipping fees.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so that is exactly, that budget will have to be looked at if we cannot afford, because we do not want to raise taxes for the taxpayer.
You're still on, Susie.
okay, I wasn't sure. Thank you, Blanche, I'm glad to hear that. I guess, do you feel that that's for all the development and people moving in, that's, is that about what the average increase is each year? I guess well, we missed the county assessor. She was out there, she knew when something new was added, etc. The solid waste board used to do a good job because there used to be from their respective areas, and they would make sure, they were kind of like watchdogs if something new came in or there were. And they used to check the units. So I don't know how Lynn is doing it. She's probably basing it off of taxpayer records. Is that correct?
So the only thing that I can say about the units is that we depend on the Department of Revenue for those units. And as you know, we depend on them. They're no longer in our courthouse, so that we no longer know what they're doing, and we have no control over the Department of Revenue. So I guess it would be up to the public if they see a new house being built or something where they'd notify maybe the treasurer, and the treasurer could notify the Department of Revenue. That's just something that we don't have a handle on.
That Matt Pierce.
Yeah.
Maps.
Yeah, and Matt's with mapping, it finds stuff for us too. So
Okay,
that we're not looking for units.
okay. All right. So back to my other question. What, with the solid waste, and you have it in front of you, Blanche, how much
Yeah.
cash? What's the cash? Because I don't
Okay.
have that. I don't have that information. I'm sorry. What was the cash?
Well, I'm looking for it.
Oh, okay.
Jeez.
2,500? Yeah.
So she doesn't have the cash on here, but I can get the ending cash.
Oh, okay.
Doesn't have it on the budget, I don't know why. Solid waste ending cash was 2,500. 25. So the ending cash for solid waste was 36,000. So she started out with 36,000 and
Okay.
is it anticipating 426, 460. But then
Okay.
that'll be another 35 units will be added to that.
Okay, so that isn't leaving a lot of leeway. What, yeah, it doesn't. So I guess you can always go to the PILT fund. You can. I mean, because if something should happen, you've got other purchase services, 200,000, which is Missoula, I understand it is. So, yeah, it's a pretty tight budget. I don't know if you should wait till next year to make some cuts. I don't, but of course, we get you, it's a hearing, you get to hear me. Thank you. You do. I think I have made just about all my comments on the budget. Thank you very much.
Okay,
I
thanks.
appreciate your time.
Okay, thanks. Dick?
See, huh?
Dick?
His hand is still up. Dick's.
It's unmuted. It's unmuted. It's just not thinking. He disconnected, so he must have been having an issue.
So looking at the solid waste budget, it's, she doesn't have the last year's cash, but she's got the figures are right, she just doesn't have last year's cash. And there is no reserve whatsoever, so with the 35 more units, we might be able to throw at least $4,700 into reserve. And
That tipping that they do, it kills us.
Yeah.
I mean, it went up quite a bit. Just
Was to
that's why-
prevent it from going up just this year that we don't know about.
Well, and then that's why he's been talking to Deer Lodge and that, trying to figure out if they get their, you know, maybe haul their own over there. They don't have, you know, 20-some thousand.
Maybe we should check into that.
I mean, he's been with them, and they're just supposed to get back. Paul's been talking, he went over and seen him and that.
Hmm.
They're trying to get it set up.
Dick has a comment
Who's that, Dick?
now.
Dick? Dick, are you there? Another.
Shows he's been on.
No, it's in there.
Susie, you have more?
Dick unmuted.
Huh?
Dick just unmuted himself, so we should give him a second maybe.
Anybody with their hand up want to talk?
Susie's.
Okay. Do you want me to, Dick's unmuted but not talking, do you want me to mute him and unmute Susie?
Yeah, at least
Just
we
do
can-
anybody, I don't care.
Is Dick on or myself?
You're on, Susie.
Thank you. Okay, I just want to clarify. I heard Commissioner McClure say that there was no reserve. Were you referring to the solid waste fund?
Yes, I was.
So, okay, so it's really right there. What's showing budgeted is it then, right, Blanche? Because 35 units aren't going to add that much.
Right,
No.
absolutely.
They're not at all. So that is really, really tight. It'll be interesting. It will. They're 135 units and times 35, that's only four, holy cats, $4,725. Oh my.
Yeah,
So-
from what I see, Susie, on this budget, that she doesn't have any reserve on it.
Yeah. Sharpen your pencil there if you can. I mean, and the pits of it is you have no capital outlay. So if something were to happen to one of the loaders at the solid waste sites at either one, you'd be, I should say backhoe, excuse me, you're going to be borrowing from PILT.
So they have for other purchase services in the solid waste fund, they do have 200,000 budgeted. So
But I
that's
figured
the-
that's.
that's the tipping
That's
thing.
for Missoula,
Right.
yeah, it's the tipping
Okay.
fee. That's the
Gotcha.
tipping fee. So, and that's your largest
Right,
expense
right.
other than your salaries. So, yeah, I think you should examine the solid waste manager position. And I think this year, not next, I do. They used to do it before. And I think they can do it again. You've got the same people there. You do. So. Thank you.
Thank you, Susie.
Elena,
Go ahead.
This is Dick Mata. I was trying to get through on my computer, but apparently the sound isn't coming through. Can you hear me on this?
yeah, go ahead.
Okay. In reference to what Susie was saying about the PILT money, did the county apply for any PILT funds from the Department of Interior?
Well, it comes through Congress.
Pardon me?
It comes through Congress and it's not guaranteed. I mean, Congress has got to do it every year, and it's just not guaranteed. I mean, it might not be there next year.
Well, there's a letter from the Secretary of Interior dated June 24th, 2021. The per that letter, the letter was to Greg Gianforte, the governor of the Montana. The PILT funds, in the first paragraph, it states, local governments may use the PILT payments for any governmental purpose, including emergency purposes, public schools, and roads. Effectively, you're no longer required to file an application for that. And if I understand you right, you didn't file any application. Therefore, the money isn't going to be designated for any specific project. Therefore, the money, when you're using the revenues from that, the revenues should be applied to the general fund and used as an offset to the taxes for the taxpayer. Do you have any, what is your comments on that? Are you going to be using the PILT funds to offset the cash revenues?
So you don't think we should have a savings account for emergencies?
Never has. There's always been against that.
Why are you talking about emergencies?
All kinds of emergencies. We just had to use it this year.
Well, it doesn't answer my question. I'm asking whether or not you're going to transfer the PILT funds from the PILT fund account to the general fund so that it can be used in
No.
calculations for that.
Well, I'm not gonna do it, so I don't think these guys are either.
No,
So you're going to ignore this thing. You did not apply for any PILT funds this year.
We've been through this before, Dick.
Pardon me?
We've been through this before.
Well, the I don't see what you're saying. You're totally ignoring the whole process. We're talking about the contribution of 300 excuse me, $303,000 this year in PILT funds. And you don't know that you've received that, and you don't have any idea how you're going to expend that money.
Right.
So what are you talking about, Dick? You're saying that we have to request monies from PILT? We've never had to do that before.
No, we don't.
Congress initiates it and gives it to us.
We have sent letters, trying to make sure that we do get it and support, but we never requested it. It's just usually it comes.
So this is a discretionary fund and the commission has chosen not to put that money, that we keep a separate fund for PILT for in need funds, and we don't put it into the general fund.
We're not going to.
The special fund is for projects that you applied for, both for you and the subdivisions, which are Phillipsburg and Drummond. This is no longer
It's
required.
payment in lieu of taxes, Forest Service.
Pardon me?
Payment in lieu of taxes, Forest Service land.
That's right.
It's
that's
not
right.
for subdivisions and condominiums and,
No.
Well, I just explained to you that this money was no longer going to be, it was no longer required that you apply to the Department of Interior. You're supposed to receive $303,000, and how have you budgeted for that? And one other thing, the PILT funds, rather than being for a special project, can be for any public use by the local government, which is you, the county government. And that can include emergency response, public schools, roads, and any other
Know that. Thank you.
general fund item. Pardon me?
We said we know that. Thank you.
You know that? Do you know how much money you're receiving for PILT this year?
Yes, we saw the figures.
You don't know, do you?
yes.
Yeah, we do, Dick.
That's enough.
What do you mean you do? Then why don't you answer my question?
We have another comment.
We have another comment, so we're gonna go to that for right now.
We have it right here, $303,173 we're receiving from PILT. That's how we figured the budget out, with the monies that were received and the monies that are still in the account from the cash. So we know what we're getting. And we've never had to request PILT.
Other comments?
It's that
Su-
way. Every
Susie.
year It's the same question.
Yeah.
Every year.
Susie,
Thank you. As far as I know, there has always been a PILT fund. And that's why it's been great for it to be there. My question is, I believe you get your money, the 303 that Dick's referring to, that doesn't come in till the end of June, right at the end of the fiscal year. Is that correct?
Correct.
that's correct.
Correct.
Okay. So basically you kind of run a year behind on it, because if you don't get it till June, then pretty soon you're into the fiscal year, right?
So Susie, what we had to do in the past is we used to, we'd get it at the end of June, and then we would anticipate it for the next fiscal year. And then the auditor said that we couldn't do that. So the 303,173 we got in June,
Okay,
and it was anticipated.
okay. So that's included in the PILT cash right
Yes.
now, Glenn? It
Yes.
is, okay.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, that doesn't make the PILT look any better. I'm sorry. It doesn't, so I figured there would be, yeah. Okay, so the cash amount in PILT is 1.7 plus, correct?
So the PILT fund at the end of the fiscal year was $1,734,089.
Okay, yeah, 1.75,
So-
okay. And you're anticipating what the anticipated there then to
So
take
what-
it is for
So,
next year? What you'll get next year?
Okay. Sorry.
So we should have a million and a half approximately. When everything's said and done, that transferred out, and then the 300,000 comes back in.
Ah. Okay. I think it takes it down a little further, but it does. But, okay, thank you.
Okay, thanks.
It's too early.
Dick, go ahead.
This is Dick Mata again. To a large degree, I resent being cut off because you're not answering the question. The meetings are
We
supposed
answered
to
your
be open to the
question.
public.
Blanche answered your question. Okay, it's sitting right here. Yeah, we know what we're getting for Phil, Dick. I mean, come on.
Well, then the question kind of gets back then to, are you going to quit using it as a slush fund? In reference to the budget or the amendments that you made yesterday, I guess it would be, to the I'm trying to get your document here. For the amendments that you made per resolution 2021-14, you specified that there would be $711,400 or $684 to the transfer to the capital purchase fund for a grader, loader, and a truck. Effectively, what you're doing there is disregarding the effect of the 764006. The appropriation power for that shouldn't have been changed. Some of the other I guess I also question the ambulance in this too. Some of the other some of the other expenditures that were authorized were for grants, and that's consistent with 764006. Under that 76406, money may not be dispersed, expended, or obligated pursuant to an appropriation for which working capital is or will be available. You may adjust the fund for debt service, trust funds, grants and shared revenues, special assessment, sale of land, gifts or donations, and money borrowed. If the $711,000 for the road fund and another 230,000, or I'm sorry, 163,000, $7,310 for the ambulance you're not authorized in order to do that. So I think that that fund should be taken out of there, and that you have essentially violated the rule 76406, and
Can you give me
the expenditures are limited to your expenditure. If you look at 76-4005, it says a local government official is liable for the amount of the excess disbursement, expenditure, or obligations personally. If even if you change the amount there, you may not
Dick,
incur an obligation in excess of the total. What?
Dick, you mentioned debt service. That is why the budget was changed, because we had to book the snowplow, the full amount. That is considered debt. Okay, so it was legally in the budget. We had to book that debt service. Where once
Yep.
upon a time, we put it in long-term debt and now it has to go in the fund.
So the debt exceeded the
Everything's
appropriations
going
that you
fine.
had originally. And the law states that you may not exceed your appropriations for a fund.
They muted
If
you.
you- if-
Hey, you want to talk law, talk to our attorney, and our attorney's not here. So. Don't talk.
Two in one.
We do. I mean, just every year, it's the same thing, you read your laws and that, and done everything, with the auditors, everything comes out. You know, how much more you gotta
Totally
try
get
to explain it to them, just. Because, if
Susie
it's a
saw-
different
Susie
question
saw
and go
hands.
moves on to a different part of the budget, we'll accept his advice, but. if we
Susie
get-
has her hand up.
Susie?
Thank you. This is Susie Browning. Blanche, were you talking about the capital outlay object in the road fund, the 900? So if I was hearing you right about the debt,
So
so instead of $127,000, that actual expenditure is going to be $232,000? And,
absolutely, 232,042.
okay,
Because that's
So-
the full amount of the debt for the years, all the other stuff that's included. See, when we originally did it to 127, it was just for what would be paid out this year.
okay, that was the 35 I was talking about for the new truck and the 90,000 for the
Yeah.
attachment. and
Yes,
2,000.
yes, and we had
Yeah.
to, it's a Gadsby and the Tana, who is she does our annual report. We had to correct 2020's budget with the same thing, doing that Gadsby, booking the full amount instead of
Just-
the amount that we pay in principal for that fiscal year. The where you remember, Susie, that we'd always book it in long-term debt and then subtract the principal every year that when we paid from our budget.
Okay.
So this is a Gadsby thing that we were told by our auditor that we had to correct for this year's budget. And we also corrected it for 2020 budget.
Okay,
Resolution.
okay, so is the principal, the 610 object, the $155,855, is that including the international truck that was just purchased? Is part of the principal there then? Because that will be the next. There
On the-
is,
Oh, go ahead.
go ahead. Go ahead.
What she has for principal is the loader, 2 trucks, 2 graders, and the excavator. So the principal and interest budgeted in that is for those payments from prior years. But
Okay,
I think maybe fiscal, what are we in, fiscal 22?
yes,
So I think fiscal 21 and fiscal 21 will have to be also corrected in that budget to book the full amount of the purchase of those, of that equipment.
okay. And this is something that just changed, didn't it?
This,
With the
yeah,
booking.
this, I've never ever heard of this, but it's a new, it has to be booked to make it easier for people to understand just which it confuses me a little bit, but
Uh-huh. So next
That's
year,
why increased that way is because we booked the full amount into the budget.
Cause we thought we had to.
earlier, I had suggested that you get a road department inventory list of equipment and vehicles and
And
because
we should
like
have that fixed assets, Susie. We probably.
I know you do, but do you have a list?
Insurance. We have insurance for all the roads.
We should be in front of us, I guess, is what she's saying.
I know there is an asset list, yes. I just, because the principal, I'm just wondering if it's gonna always stay that high. You're gonna have a principal payment next year on the 2022 truck you bought. When are some of these other items gonna be paid off?
That, I think Sarah knows, I don't know that, but I'm thinking that she was saying that I think this year would be the last. year
Oh, well,
we have.
that, okay. I was just looking at the amount. I was just looking at the amount and seeing where you can cut because you're, with what you have budgeted, you have no reserve whatsoever. And so, you know, maybe
Yeah.
you won't use 150,000 in the repairs and maintenance. Hope you can stress that, you know, we need to do
Yes.
more in-house. We do, so, thank you.
Thank you, Susie.
Dick,
If it's on some other part of the budget, I'm not gonna sit there and build stuff and we keep explaining it to them.
This is Dick Mata again. I was trying to make some points with the county commissioners here, and I've been muted twice from the meeting. As far as I'm concerned, you're denying me the right to know and participate, my constitutional right to know and participate in public meetings. The public meetings are also supposed to be available to the public via MCA 23203. For you to continue to deny me access to the meeting, I consider it a violation of official misconduct, and I will probably pursue that point. Thank you very much.
To answer Sue, this is Becky Mickey. To answer Susie's question, one of the truck number 2 that we have, the dump truck, I make a final payment on Tuesday after claims. And then I have a list of all of the other ones and their final pay dates. And if she wants, I can scan them and email them to her, the amortization charts or
Okay.
schedules.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Did you get that, Susie?
Yes, thank you.
You are very welcome.
So next year, what will we have left? Just,
We'll have the new truck that we're just getting coming in, and then
We have the international dump truck. 2020 international dump truck. We'll have the CAT 2, which is paid off in 23. It's the grader,
that's on buyback.
sorry.
That's on buyback.
Mm-hmm. This one is in 24, also a grader.
Yeah.
Is that on the buyback also? Yeah.
so what does that mean?
That we don't have to buy another one, they'll buy it back, and give us, there's a chunk of money they'll give us towards another buyback, so we'll just keep kind of rolling the lease deal with them.
So as opposed to purchasing it outright, we're just always gonna be leasing that type of
Which has
equipment.
worked out better for us, because we have always have, you know.
Well, and like Susie said, you know, when we're leasing those things, if something goes terribly wrong with it, we call the company and say, this is wrong, come fix your stuff, it's warranty. But then we have the wheel loader, that'll be paid in 24. Will be the final payment on it. And we have the 308 excavator, and that final payment is in 23.
So here's the thing, if it comes down to it and we can't afford to release a new one, then we won't be able to afford to release a new one. I mean, you have to look at it that way. We'll have to keep what we have and try to maintain it.
Yes, not good, yeah.
And I mean, we have repairs, $150,000 in repairs and maintenance. So that right there, hopefully, we don't even use this year if we've got a warranty on these vehicles.
Plus, then we should have.
Yeah.
It's kind of why we would have, like that truck that we took in, was gonna be what, 30-some thousand just for the motor.
Admittedly, the road fund is in dire trouble and we had to put Pilton there to balance the budget. And yes, we do look at it and hope to save money in years.
But that's
where we'll
what,
have a good reserve.
that's what Pilt's for. I mean, you got it.
Dick has another comment.
Dick?
This is Elena. I got my computer back. Thank you. I can't see who's talking. Who's been
No, I can't see you either.
answering questions. Well, you know my name. I don't know the person who was talking. And whoever it was,
The
I'm sorry?
deputy clerk recorder, the deputy clerk and recorder, Debbie or
She-
Becky Mickey.
She
came
stated her name, so.
and
I'm
she
sorry,
did
I
state her-
I'm sorry. Okay, thank you for telling me who it was. And I would like also a copy that you're going to be mailing to Susie, please. Thank you.
It's fine.
What you say?
Public, she just wants the same copies as Susan's getting, so we'll just have Becky email them or whatever to Elaine or Dick.
You have to read this whole thing. It's in the equipment clerk's office.
What is it?
The levies.
Hmm.
That need to set levies to,
Do you have to read it? Something?
well, I didn't know if we had to read every. From the cert, they came from the certified tax evaluation. Will you find me that? That's- What was it, 46? Six.
Like the appropriation of power. Four zero zero six.
I can, what is it?
The 7-6 4006, the appropriations of power. Requirements.
4006.
So I think that's the one I pulled up.
Let me see if I can find it here.
It talks about the appropriations of money. Power.
Title 7, right?
Were you able to find it? Back to you.
Okay, on that, 7-6 406. A, debt service funds for obligations related to debt approved by the governing body. And we approved the plow truck and booked the whole thing,
Hmm.
appropriated it in this year's budget by request from the auditor.
Pretty much explained it.
Yeah, I was just reading this to make sure that I understood what he was talking about. I didn't have the code right. in front
That's
of
what
me,
Dick
so-
was talking about.
Yeah.
So what's,
Yeah, so we're good. Yeah, I can stop up for myself. Shame on me.
One thing I heard the road crew too was that we never got that money and we did a lot of work with the Forest Service. I paid the superintendent's wages for 3 years, 2 years in a row. That really helped us this year. They never had to work. Because they got cut back. And I Solid waste has always been tight. It's too damn scales, look how much money putting scales in. That. It's always so.
Susie has a comment.
Go ahead, Susie.
Thank you, Susie Browning, for the record. I just heard Scott talking about the scales for the solid waste and spending that money. That was done through a grant. And I agree, it did not solve the problem as far as how units were being assessed. It didn't, which the Drummond site, there's a problem with the wind blowing underneath. I mean, this really has nothing to do with budget, sorry for that. But I don't know if anything was remedied there at all, was it?
Yeah, we've put out some blind, there's stuff to try to stop that wind, Susie, and then we got a different scale pad set up that we can actually clean out so it don't freeze up. And they put heaters and stuff in there, and I think it should start hopefully better than it's ever been. And then we redone the computers and that, because there's a lot of times all our computers were down all the time. We couldn't ever tell who's what, or, when people are coming in, you couldn't count the numbers and everything.
Thank you. I just wanted to be sure that you knew that was done through grant money,
Yeah,
Great
we
West
did.
Engineering. So it wasn't money that was spent out of the solid waste budget. Not saying that there wasn't some at that time. There was grant money available for the carcass composting too. There was, but anyhow, thank you.
Susie has another comment.
Susie?
Yes, I was just wondering if you plan, I don't know how much it's worth either, probably have to get an assessment, but do you plan to sell the snowplow that was broke down? That's why my understanding that you purchased the new truck. Wasn't there one that was gonna cost like $50,000 to fix? And so that's why you got a new truck?
Well, it wasn't 50, but I don't know. We'll have to talk about that. What we're gonna do with it.
It's just, so you have no idea what it's worth would be or what it would take.
Yeah, I don't think it should be worth very much. I don't
Okay.
know.
Okay, I appreciate Billy sending me that list. I don't know if you're aware, and perhaps because the asset list was kind of got behind and we were trying to get it updated, but you know, the Board of County Commissioners are supposed to biannually, prepare and file with the county clerk and recorder an inventory covering all county tools, machinery, and equipment. That, I guess I'm going back to the inventory list. I think that's why it's a great idea to have. That's in the statutes. That's 78211.
Is that all tools? All tools? And
Yeah, it says tools, machinery, and equipment. I would imagine that you go from your asset list, and I think that's everything that's over $5,000, but I may be incorrect. I just didn't know if you were aware of that. I remember going out and actually checking serial numbers against what we had on record. And it was good because we got to see what equipment was out there and how everything was.
right. No, we need a list, and yeah, I agree.
It,
Should get there on the wall.
Yeah.
thank you.
August called and he said he was headed to Sims or going through Sims to get more oil, totes of oil. So that stuff's gone up, you know, we need to do it.
Get more oil for what?
Totes of oil, like oil, you know, chloride.
Hmm.
Gas rate and stuff. Makes it-
So when were the tools last seen?
When were the tools? I don't remember. Or since I've been here. I know we
Wait, what?
got some new welders and stuff last year and stuff like that, which they're all got serious. But yeah, he can.
So we need to maybe get a hold of talk with Paul and get an inventory done. And turn in all tools and equipment.
Yeah, because they bought a chainsaw and some other stuff, you know, yeah, they.
Yeah.
Steve Jacobson,
Yeah.
he knows what's up here in
Absolutely.
the shop, he could go through it probably. I knew what Paul could do.
And it probably should be done once a year.
I wish you know what's gotten that.
Yeah.
I don't remember anything that should have been there. We never really ever had much of it. We go over to Helm and pick up stuff that, like, you know, cheap, but we have there ain't serial numbers for stuff on wrenches and all that. I can understand, well, there's the cut torches, anything that's over $1,000 maybe have that stuff that has serial number. You can just say, oh, there's around approximately $500 worth of research. You can say that. But we under insurance, so the building's covered the supplies inside of it. I don't know if that'd be something that, what road do you have, or,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? I guess I never ever covered, we never really had nothing. We bought a couple of really nice welders and plasma cover, and that, but it's always been stuff like, that one thing, Richard Skate bought that. You know, it lasted forever, but it was just from the state. So. If there's anything major, we'll take it in, because now they can sell out computers.
Susie has another comment.
Susie?
Commissioners, I would assume the first reading of the final budget resolution will be next week, which the final budget is always effective July 1. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. If you were to look at any of the items that were discussed today and maybe possibly make any cuts, that is not going to affect the overall mills on anything, or I don't believe it would have to be a great sum of money to do that. What is the mill worth?
1522.
So the road mill, what mill?
Well, the general, what's the general?
The
and then
general
the-
countywide is 15,222,094.
Okay, and the road, please?
The road is 12,838,938.
12,838,9.
38.
Okay. All right. So there'll be a first reading and then a second reading.
Correct.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to leave your session and leave you alone. Have a good
So,
day.
Susie,
Go ahead.
question. We will order the following levies today and sign that and get that to the Department of Revenue and Treasurer, correct?
Yes,
Okay. Yeah, that'll be signed today and the treasurer and the Department of Revenue will get the following levies.
thank
Okay.
you. Have a good day.
You too.
You got a question? Just pops up.
So what did we just state that this was the first reading of?
First formal reading is next Tuesday, and then the second reading and adoption is the following Tuesday.
I thought it had to be done before the 15th.
We'll check.
I think we had to have it opened up to the public before the 15th.
Hmm.
We've done all that, we've had it laid out, and we've done our 2 meetings.
So this isn't the first reading today.
I don't think that is, but I think we have to do it.
But yeah, we have to do the order today.
Because this is still just a draft, and I think that comes Tuesday. I think we wanted to just look this over, make sure that everything.
Oh, okay.
And then Tuesday, that'll be the first reading. The next.
My email from Blaine yesterday says they make a decision tomorrow, which would be today, as noted on the agenda to be reflected in the minutes, but the formal resolution would be for September 14th and 21st.
So we want to go ahead and do this then?
Hmm.
Just what we have to do?
I mean, we're not changing them, so we can go ahead and put a motion in to accept them. We can,
Can we do it now?
I mean, unless there's other comments, but I mean, we're not gonna change nothing on there.
No,
It's
no, the
set. It's
levies
just
are,
set.
the levies are set.
Yeah.
So I make a motion that we order the levies for fiscal 2020, for the year 2021, 2022, which is fiscal 22.
Second.
Okay, any comments on it?
So and then a copy goes to the treasurer and then to the Department of Revenue.
Any public comments? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Billy, Becky needs to sign it.
Then on them, do we sign that thing? That'd be part. That'd be
This?
good, yeah.
This is just,
But there's some signature thing on that.
those are just the certified values from the Department of Revenue.
Nothing happened.
So it says biannually for the prepare and file with the county clerk and recorder, the inventory covering all county tools, machinery and equipment. So, I mean, you already have the fixed assets. So they just don't have.
Just a tool part, we have anything else. just
Yeah.
add inventory of tools, I guess, just- Get rid of stuff that's worth more than 500, maybe, or what, and try to inventory, screwdriver, wrenches, or what.
We could probably set that value.
They can estimate on wrenches, whatever they got. I'm not sure what.
Well, that'd be a good idea. Well, apparently we're supposed to do it. So.
When was the last time it was done? I wonder?
It hasn't been since I've
Really?
been- Yeah.
You've been here a long time.
I never heard we had to do this stuff for inventory. I knew we had to do it on equipment. I didn't know that we had tools, but I definitely agree with her, but you know, I think it's something that should be done. So that, well, you know, welders and torches and plasma cutters and stuff. I put like anything that's over $500 inventory of that. I don't think they need to try to inventory the screwdrivers, wrenches.
No, hope not.
Yeah.
Let's keep buying.
Mhm.
There's a reason we'd have to keep replacing tools.
They do pretty good on that stuff. They really do. I think they, when they got any move bought that at the shop, and they actually have the stuff on the walls, and all the sockets they have, they get from back and forth, all the sewer bill. It costs you.
Maybe we should have a tour up here. for the heck of it.
Have what?
Tour up here, all of us go up there.
Look,
Yeah, you can walk through and see what they got.
Yeah.
It's, you know, Steve, you know, you just call him Johnny or Steve on the, Steve would be the better one to talk to because he does most of the mechanic stuff, so he'll he can actually show you what's right there. Tools. Hey, Jackie. All right, what's up? That ramp, she just called this morning and something to do with, I was gonna call her back. Budget stuff, but it was something to do with the electronically recording patients. They have to send in the state gave them a computer to use for the equipment. I figured that's what it was. Yeah, yeah.
There's something we're gonna have to talk about.
What's that?
Drug and alcohol testing with legalized marijuana. Are we gonna,
Ooh,
huh?
what page 7?
17.
Well, I think
So we push out the policy and procedure book one more week.
What's that?
Do you want me to push out the policy and procedure book one more week, or do you want it on this next agenda?
I didn't hear the first part.
Do you want this on the next agenda, or do you want me to push it out again? The policy and procedure book?
does marijuana, can-
We'll push it out another week if you guys want it.
so
Hey, Jackie was one. Not do with the budget though, but she's getting ready for the LEPC meeting, wants to make sure about inviting the volunteers. So, yeah, we're not, she just said, I'm just wanting to make sure. And then
yeah,
she was, then we gotta figure out what we can do with the building and that. Just go down this building. We're gonna have to look in there, see what it looks like. Well, that one down there, it's dirty. We just gotta figure out next week. You put that on, right? Yeah, you said next week.
I do, but I can.
We will the following week. That way we can follow up. We need to look at it next week and then figure out what we need to do, clean up and maintenance on the records and that. Because I don't know who's even looking at that stuff. You know, I guess that's another one of the deals we need to. He can go look and see what they need, start them.
so,
I email,
I mean, they're volunteers. They're not recommended.
right, right,
But the shed is clean.
there, maybe see who cleans the clinic down there, maybe they can
All
they
the-
clean it themselves.
clean
You mean where the health nurse is? They
Yeah.
clean their own.
no, I mean the clinic,
Oh, Margaret.
Yeah,
Bowers.
Marco Barros.
Yeah.
If somebody cleans that for them,
Maybe somebody go
they
in there.
could,
It's
we
gonna
could
take,
get them to, because there might be, well, they wouldn't turn a thing in with us, no, be with the hospital, but we could find out, and if they would want.
I guess, needs, stuff needs to be picked up.
Yeah.
and Just organized.
Well, and
It's
like-
just, they get in late and I know they got, throw stuff down and they want to get home too. So you can't. I guess, it needs.
Well, like if the highway patrol and the sheriff's office, they use it too. Pick up after themselves,
Yeah, I mean, that's a,
yeah,
because who's to
Clean
say
your
it ain't
mess.
some of theirs.
big sign, clean your mess.
Yeah, clean your own mess. All the garbage is full, and that just needs stuff needs to be pulled out. And right along the road, the guys go down and get all the garbages out. Pull the ambulances out, sweep it out, just get it ready for the winter.
So you want that on not this Tuesday, but the following Tuesday?
I'll mention Paul, he can go look and see what things you might need, but there's tires and stuff needed, and you need this important.
So there's a bunch of tires over there too.
That's the sheriff's stuff. I don't know what that is, right? I don't know if they're-
Well, what are those tires doing there?
Some of them probably are good spares, they just keep them, in case it's so hard to find spares anymore. Nobody will sell you a spare, it's a liability. If I knew.
And then I'll get one tire for an all-wheel drive, you have to get four. So is marijuana a controlled substance?
I don't know. We gotta talk about it. I mean, I think it stays in the system for quite a while until I hear. So is there gonna be testing for people driving?
Oh. For
You know, page 17 of the handbook.
in safety sensitive positions.
So anybody driving or using equipment, are they gonna be tested?
Well, they do now, don't they? Isn't there random testing?
Yeah, they're
They're
random
random
testing
records.
right now. That's through the DOT compliance. So, yeah, they're getting tested. They don't know who's gonna get it. They also
Yeah.
just get a thing.
But right now, it's not legal, but when it's legal, are people gonna say, well,
Well, if they make it legal, there ain't much we can say.
Well, alcohol's legal too, and they can't be drunk on the job.
That's right. we
Right.
do-
That's why there's that regular random testing.
Yeah, and it would, you could do marijuana.
And I think our,
It's a controlled substance.
is it controlled then? No, I guess it would be.
Testing for controlled substances
And I-
and alcohol.
I'm thinking too, if it becomes legalized, I'm thinking NACO will send out direction on counties for
Yeah.
policy books on how we should word that
I hope so.
for amendments. Or we could work with Michelle too.
You know, and then another thing, Blanche, I just think about it, I know we cannot tell people when they can take their vacation or whatever, but I think in something like where this is so, thank God we have you to help us, because we know this stuff. But if we didn't, or something that, you know, like the head people should be here for this budget, these 2 days, just in case we had to go ask them.
Who?
The head people, you know.
Yeah.
That way, but thank God we have you and you know this stuff. Otherwise, we, you know, we'd be in here fumbling, trying to figure out how to answer questions without having somebody in the head to help us. I'm just.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
Well, I think when you stop and think, the sheriff came in and talked about his budget, what he wanted, and we had all the other people turn their budgets in, and if we had questions with them, we could pull them in.
But I guess I kind of mean just like with, if you weren't here, you know, we'd have to have Sarah here to answer some of
Yeah.
the
Mhm.
Yeah.
questions. Is what I mean, I don't mean each,
Oh, okay.
yes, to help us answer what she did on the
Right.
budget, and thank God, and I appreciate how you can read them and understand them, because there are a couple of questions, shit, I was like, oh, no.
Yeah,
You know, that's what I mean, I just really
Yeah.
appreciate having you here and how to get to that, but, no.
Yeah.
So,
I appreciate it too.
that's all I
Thank
mean. I didn't mean each, you know.
oh, no, yeah. I thought maybe,
I was thinking the same thing, boy, I'd be lost.
so.
Not against Sarah. I don't want, you know, trying to tell her how when she can or can't be here, but I guess it's just sometimes it just, you know, you kind of need it because it's a special time of year. You know, like on that one where she didn't have that whole thing in there, it might have been a reason. for it.
Okay, what else do we have to do then?
Do you have to make a motion?
To accept the budget or?
Think, let me look at my email, I did ask him to this kind of down.
He ain't here.
He's not here at all?
No, he won't be until this afternoon. He sent us stuff, so, but we could call him and ask him whatever we needed. I thought we made a motion to accept, and then the first reading we looked at, and then the second one, then we finalized. I thought
I
that's,
think that's right.
what it said. I'm not sure.
You make a decision to adopt the budget, you know, you make a motion on adopting the budget, correct?
Correct.
And then, you do, I think you can do your first reading, but your formal resolution, because this is just the draft, so you can accept the draft resolution, and then we do the formal reading, first reading Tuesday, and then we do the adoption the following
Yeah.
Tuesday.
Well, somebody want to make a motion to?
Okay, so I make a motion that we adopt the budget and that we accept resolution 2021-15 draft.
Yeah.
And have the first reading next Tuesday and finalize it on 21st.
We second that.
That's fiscal year 2022.
Fiscal year 22, yes.
Any public comment? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
I,
Aye.
Just one last comment, I want to really appreciate it, though I did mean what I'm saying about,
Oh.
thank you for acknowledging
thank you.
being here, because I told, yeah. Minutes. 5 minutes, they can comment, huh? Nobody? Going once? Yeah. Call them and see if we got that done, or if you want me to, I can.
I can call him today.
See if we have time to get it done, or.
Typing.
I didn't do that.
Supposed to rain.
That's what they're saying, Friday and Saturday is supposed to get rain.
We're supposed to get lightning too, aren't we?
Where's the fire at? Someone said there was one at Georgetown.
Yeah, grass fire,
Huh?
wasn't
In Georgetown,
it? Yeah, last night.
really?
I never heard about
Days
it.
ago.
How big?
I don't know how big it was, but I heard they got it contained pretty quickly. It was a grass fire,
Oh,
and I think it was kind of on that back across from, used to be the Brown Derby Lake House. It's called now, right back over in that kind of corner.
campfire or something,
A what?
campfire or something, or what?
Grass fire.
But I mean,
I don't know.
oh, I never heard about it.
Mm-mm.
Same fire.
Well, I guess we can be adjourned. Huh?
Good job, you guys, good job on the budget. Thank each ones that work for us for getting their budgets in and setting them. Good job.
Good job, yeah.
Thank you.
Right.
Good job, you guys. Thanks for
Well-
listening. So our cash doesn't look good, too.
So we're gonna leave, we're adjourned.